when I think of Carbon Cutter, and when I think of like helping engines run, I'm thinking about my college days. I had a Ford Taurus, and I was like, listen, I only got $5. This is back when $5 could get you a long way. And I'm like, how do I make sure that my engine is running at that top speed and making sure that I can get my money's worth? So that's what I think of when I think of Carbon Cutter. Am I thinking correctly about what you do and what you've created?
Yeah, you can definitely say that. And most people, when they think along those lines, they're thinking, is my air filter clean? Did I change my oil? Yada, yada, yada. Well, I'm not trying to brag or whatever, but I do go a little bit past that. And what I
Mm.
do, I take a look at, there's a known fact in the automotive OEM world, and that's that only 65% of your fuel burns, even in a modern engine. So that's 35% of your fuel money, your gas money, whatever, that's going, you know, up in the air, you lose.
Yeah, where
So
does it go?
that's called pollution.
Hmm.
It's literally when you go for an emissions test. I know they're real heavy in California. They're real strict on that. One of the items that's measured is hydrocarbons. If you look up
Yeah.
hydrocarbons as a definition, you'll find it means fuel. So when they're measuring hydrocarbons, they're measuring how much fuel is in your exhaust, and it can only be in your exhaust if it's not burnt.
Uh-huh.
So So what I'm doing basically is I'm introducing a form of airflow that basically mixes the air and fuel better in the combustion chamber inside the engine. And when it's mixed better and more of the fuel is vaporized, it burns better. So you get a larger percentage burn, you get a little bit higher output, more power, because burning fuel is what gives you power. So if you burn a larger percentage, of course, you're going to get more power. But that means that you don't need to use as much pedal to do the same job as it did before.
Okay. Okay.
So it's honestly, it's too simple. My favorite thing to do with this thing when I was still in California, I would
Uh-huh.
take the thing to a mechanic, a seasoned mechanic. Those are my favorites. Tell him I've got something that'll do blah blah blah, and he says, okay, let me see it. I show it to him, and he look at it, and I'm trying to figure out here. Okay, my favorite word. I'll use my word instead of a cuss word. He would look at it and he would go bull feathers
Uh-huh.
instantly. I guarantee it. He would look at it and do that. But when he puts it in the car and he drives the car, his jaw drops.
Mm.
Because you actually, if
It's
if anybody's going to say, I'm going to make your engine more efficient, you know, and you put it in the car and you get in the car and you drive it and you don't feel a change, it's bull feathers.
it's that powerful.
Yeah, it's definitely noticeable. But the point is, I'm saying this is true for anybody. Any product on the market that says, "Oh, this makes your engine strong." Okay, you put it in the car, you drive, you don't feel a change. It's bull feathers. Anything. You
So
know?
how did you come up with this? Why was this important for you?
It was important for me because you mentioned you had a Ford Taurus. I had a Ford. What was it? Very old. I
Was it the Fred Sanford car? The truck?
well, it didn't have those big round spoke wheels. No,
Mm.
no, it was Fairlane. That's what it was.
Mm.
Talking 1960s, 1970s, around that era, right? And the engine was running really bad, and I was looking for something that would make it run better. So uh, I did find something. A fellow in Canada was selling something. I think it was his company is called Eagle Research. He's still in business, but I don't think he's doing the automotive stuff anymore. Um, but he had a device which was very simple. I installed it, felt a change, loved it, And then in the 1990s, I found something that is, you can almost say it's an ancestor to what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
almost, but not quite. And I put it fairly successfully in a couple of vehicles. But one day I just happened to look at it and have a thought. And the thought was, I can do better than this.
Is there a patent on this?
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really, I'm speaking to an inventor.
Get my halo up here, you know.
I believe you are the first. I've interviewed a lot of people over the past 5 years. You are the first inventor on the show.
Well, I thank you.
Yes.
I'm honored.
I love
It's
it.
you know, even my wife, she keeps saying, "Well, you're so smart. You're an inventor." And she said, "Well, you make new dishes for dinner out of nothing every day. That's
true.
inventing.
Is
It
true.
is inventing."
So I'm interested about the patent process. Like, what do you have to do to get a patent in this country? Or oh, let me ask you this: is it in the United States or is it in the Philippines?
Basically, we're in the Philippines right now, but we're also in the process of a few other countries where we have interest in the device. So obviously we have to patent it in there. But we're also protected by the World IPO patent agreement, WIPO.
Okay.
You invent something, you patent it. Basically, you have a year and a half to patent it. In any other country that's covered, I think it's on 165 countries that are part of this trade agreement. So you have a year and a half that you're protected, or that you can apply for a patent in any other country you want to. That's in that trade agreement.
How long, once you get approved for the patent, how long does that last?
Depends on the patent. The simplest are design patents, and I think they're about 10 years. A more technical patent, I forgot what they're called. That gives you 17 years. So just depends on what you're going for, what you invented.
I want to invent something. Dan, you can, I want to be your invention partner. We can invent something.
I never stop anybody from inventing.
So for the Carbon Cutter, who is your ideal client? So are you going to families, helping them, get more out of their individual car, or are you going to the dealerships? Are you talking to the big plants, the automobile makers? Who's your client?
Clients right now basically are national distributors for developing countries, because this device actually can't be used in a more modern car. I say about 2010 and up in the US, and about 2014 and up in Asia.
Okay.
The reason for that is that there's a computer in the car, and there are sensors that so that the computer knows what's going on. One of the things it looks for is what's the pollution level coming out of the tailpipe. And current cars are basically keeping the emission level the same as when the car came out of the factory. Now that means if you make that engine more efficient, the computer is going to see that after a little while and go, put more fuel in. So we'll get that pollution level back up to where it was when it came out of the factory.
Okay.
That seems a little odd, but
that's backwards.
Exactly. The point is, it doesn't matter which way you go on the graph. If you make the emissions better or worse, the computer tries to recalibrate and make them the same as when it came out of the factory.
Got it.
So, but that's mainly just in gasoline cars.
Okay.
In diesels, we don't have any trouble with new diesels. They're fine.
Okay.
So our main goal right now is to get developing countries going, distributors in developing countries, as well as fleets, because fleets are usually diesel vehicles. So we can do those up one side and down 50 others, and get very good results. We're actually, the Philippine government has a Department of Science and Technology, and they have an environmental technology verification test. And we went through that test in 2018. And that this device, the carbon cutter, is verified, government verified, to reduce diesel emissions by 75% and gasoline hydrocarbons by 65%.
That's huge.
Yeah.
What does your day to day look like as an entrepreneur, as a businessman?
Honestly, a lot of my time is spent on LinkedIn, doing a lot of promotions. You can pull down all your connection data from LinkedIn, so you can make a bulk mail email list from those connections. I send out bulk mails. I do lots of invitations. I always look for something that will relate somehow to what I'm doing.
Mhm.
So it might be foundations, it might be corporate CSR people, it might be fleet managers, anything that might possibly be related. That's who I go after. So I do that a lot. Before this pandemic, I went a lot. The Asian Development Bank happens to be in Manila,
Mhm.
and they have every year they have a clean energy event. And for probably about 5 years in a row, I always went to those. So I was always getting contacts with people from all over Asia that were interested in clean energy. So that's another source. I'm getting a lot of help from a lot of interest from the Rotary Club, which you mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
The Rotary Club is is just adding environmental sector as one of their their aims, their targets to
Good.
actually do projects on. And my project, it not only is an environmental project, but it's also a social project because we hire disabled people to fabricate the device for us in their homes. And then we pay local people that need an income to do the installation for us. So we go into an area that's like the city of Malabon, for example, Malabon, Philippines. They want the project. We actually, unfortunately, 2 days before the lockdown, we got word of an approval for 800 tricycles, and that was 2 days before the lockdown.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
But
bicycle repair is your past life, right?
yes, yes, I did bicycle repairs. I built even a custom chopper bicycle, which when you think California chop, yep,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
way,
that's what I'm
way back,
thinking.
way back,
Yeah.
long front end on that sucker. It was so well designed accidentally, but it was so well designed that I could pedal extremely hard on it. I got stopped for speeding twice on it,
No way.
going 45 in a 35 zone on a flat road. So yeah, I've had fun. I like my you know my intent, my purpose, my thing that makes me want to do things. I like to make things better.
When it comes to manufacturing this for mass consumption or for your clients, what does that process look like? Are you making every single one? Are you sending it somewhere? Do you have a factory? What does it look like when if somebody says, I want 10,000 carbon cutters? What do you do?
Um, well, I'll tell you what. Right now, we're partnered with the Foundation for These Able People,
Mhm.
and that's a Philippine foundation. Their purpose is to look for work for disabled people.
Okay.
So what we do is they find the people for us, we train them, and the training is real fast. It's about 3 days, 2 hours a day. They get
Oh,
the
yeah.
yeah, they get the basic idea, and 1 or 2 weeks into it, they're doing it very well. Um, and what we do is we bring the raw materials to their house. They do the fabrication. We come and pick them up, and we pay them for all the ones that are actually usable.
Hmm.
So that gives them incentive to make them right, and gives us a better product.
Right.
Um, that is the manufacturing right now. Now, in another country, which I mentioned we have interest from a couple, um, they may not go that same way. We're not going to, mandate that they do that. We ask them to, but it's up to them. It's their business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a project anywhere in the world, like say somebody wants to donate. For example, I just happened to do this numbers for somebody yesterday. $10,000 US will retrofit 400 tricycles. So that will only be maybe one person working for about a month, right? They can do that many in about a month, no problem. But that will reduce 187 tons of CO2 per year from that point on. It doesn't stop. The device doesn't wear out. So as long as the engine lasts, that thing has got a reduced emission level. So that's our manufacturer right now.